Hey, our upgrade pace is looking solid right now, but I do think we need to push harder if we want to stay competitive. Here's the report.
What's going on, guys? Aarava here. Welcome back to another episode of my F1 2016 career mode. Episode number 4 today from the Russian Grand Prix. And as you can see on screen at the moment, we're just taking a look at the vehicle performance comparison. You can see Toro Rosso, surprisingly, have jumped us in the actual running order. Haas, we're ahead of them, thankfully. We started below them at the start of the season, so thankfully we've jumped ahead of them. And generally, it looks like all the AI upgrades are finally coming in. As we move on to the story of practice, we can see on the left-hand side now, the likes of Manor have also upgraded. Toro Rosso brought 2 upgrades, so we're finally seeing the AI upgrades finally kick in, and we've known this since March that basically the player can upgrade whenever he wants, obviously every single race if you have the points, but the AI will generally upgrade in like 2 to 3 race batches. So you can see Toro Rosso there made a huge leap because they weren't ahead of us last weekend in China, clearly on pace, but also just in the standings. When we looked at the laptop, they were behind us, so now they've jumped ahead of us again at the Russian Grand Prix. So it'll be interesting to see how they go in the race, and if we do actually genuinely see an improved performance from one of the Toro Rosso cars, be it Science or Fiat. As you can see at the moment, we're just taking you through the story of practice, through the track acclimatization as per usual in the new career mode at the moment, trying to get the most R&D points we can with the qualifying pace as well. In FP2, I made quite a horrible mistake, as you can see on screen right now. We made quite a dramatic crash with, I think it was Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, so the confidence levels at Russia weren't amazing going into qualifying, I'll tell you that much. The car wasn't feeling as good as it did in China, or at least in the race at China, so I was a little bit worried about that, but we finally made our engine upgrade, this 700 R&D point engine upgrade, which will be fantastic for us next race. I think our PR agent wants to tell us something about a new rival.
Hey, looks like you've got a bit of rivalry going on out there. This is good. Gets people talking about you. Just make sure you outperform them, okay?
So we've got a brand new rival there in the form of, you can see, Romain Grosjean in the Haas F1 car. So we saw that he was about, I think, a point behind us or maybe ahead of us. So logical decision there for a new rival. Of course, we beat Jenson Button in the last round at China, and so you move on to a brand new rival every time you beat your current rival. So we move on to qualifying now. This is within Q2. Q1 was a formality, nothing really interesting to actually see there. In Q2, though, we come through the line and hopefully going to make it into Q3. I said we were struggling a little bit on pace, and I didn't feel too confident getting into Q3 this time, actually, to be honest, and we just about made it through with Jenson along. So me and Jenson both just about scraped through there. Felipe Massa, surprisingly, making it on the soft tyres in the Williams car, so that's very surprising because Williams have been lagging a little bit in this season. But you can see very 2x2, actually, apart from Max Verstappen getting first place in Q2, obviously, but not Q3, so it's not pole position just quite yet. So we move on talking about Q3. You can see it's overcast now, and the track basically became undrivable, for me at least. It became very, very harsh. I'm not too sure if it was meant to start raining just after qualifying ended here at Russia, but it got very, very dark. The track was very, very cold. Felt like I was driving on ice, really. And as we come through into the qualifying results, you can see that I was very, very off the pace, and we qualified in 10th place. I have no idea, I have no answers really to give you guys on why that was the case. The track genuinely just felt awful to drive, and I tried my best to, qualify as high as I could, but it was just so far off the pace. So I'm not too sure if that's maybe a little glitch, maybe that I need to maybe bring up in the Cody's forums, or just tweet one of the Cody's guys, but it just seemed weird how the track condition changed dramatically, and the AI didn't seem to get affected, but I certainly did. But anyway, either way, we're still all in good standing with our team, so we're ready for the Russian Grand Prix. We have to make the most of it from 10th place. Hopefully we'll make some overtakes at the beginning of the Grand Prix. So let's get on to the grid for the Russian Grand Prix. Right, so here we are on the grid for the Russian Grand Prix, taking a look at our race strategy. It's going to be a one-stop today. I don't really see any kind of logical way as to why we would be doing a two-stop. I think the only reason you do a two-stop is if you had immense pace and quite bad tyre wear, but it seems Russia, from what I did in practice as well, the tyres really don't wear out that too much. You could do about 3 laps on the super softs in qualifying and still have about, I think, 9% tyre wear, so I think it's all going to be fine. So we're going on to the formation lap now, standard stuff, but yeah, I think the one-stop is going to be a pretty straightforward race. Hopefully filled with some overtaking rather than defending, but we'll have to see. Obviously, the pace in Q3 wasn't amazing, but as I said, hopefully that was just a little bit of a glitch on the AI's part, and hopefully we're going to finish ahead of this man, Jensen Button. Obviously, our team wants us to finish ahead of him and Roman Grosjean now, who's our new rival, but they still want me to beat my teammate, so that's kind of an added kind of challenge for us, hoping that we can finish ahead of both of them. So here we go, on to the actual main start. We've just cut ahead to the end of the formation lap, and now we'll go to those 5 red lights for the 4th round of this season, the Russian Grand Prix. Let's see what we can do from 10th place today. 5 red lights, and they go out. We dump the clutch, get a pretty okay start. A lot of wheel spin actually in first gear compared to what we've got so far this season, but Raikkonen has had a shocker of a start there. So bogged down, as well as the Williams of Bottas. So we get up into 8th place at the moment, ahead of our teammate, who also got a poor start down towards turn 2, which is technically feels like a turn 1. But look at that, Perez. Perez down the right-hand side, diving down the inside. He's gained 3 places there, but now he's lost the back end on the back of Massa there, so he's undone all his good braking into turn 2, and now we'll swing round on the inside of Raikkonen and Perez and Bottas. Massa going a little bit slow, I should say. We had to lock up there a little bit to make sure we didn't hit the back of him. Massa going a little bit waywardly slow there, right at the end of that swooping left-hander, but we're up into 7th place now, so fantastic start through the turn 2 and turn 3 complex there, and we're ahead of one of the Ferraris. Probably not for too long, but you know, we'll try and savour it as long as we can. But now we move on to lap 2. We're in the slipstream. Felipe Massa actually genuinely catching him in a straight line down to turn 2, get the braking done, hit the apex, and we're up into 6th place. So really genuinely surprised that we actually caught the Williams car in a straight line without DRS, just got in the slipstream and tow kind of section right underneath his gearbox, and we genuinely actually caught him and overtook him there. So that's genuinely, you know, really, really nice to see. But on to lap 3, as I said, the inevitable was always going to happen. The Ferrari of Raikkonen now comes down our inside on the back straight, but he doesn't do so well into the entry and exit that corner, so we go side by side with him through the next complex. Into sector 3 we go, and we'll just about get it. Snap of oversteer, but we'll control it, and we'll get it back up into 6th place. But it's pretty much going to be a case of he'll now have DRS on the very next lap 4, as we move on to that. He'll go down the inside even before we hit turn 1 there, that little kink, and he has DRS. We'll try and get in the slipstream, maybe try and gain something from him, but it looks like he has that move all well and done. We'll try and see, maybe we can do a little cut back and get a good run on him. We do get a little bit of a good run, but I think he's going to have it here through the left-hander. I mean, I'll be pretty surprised if we really work in a battle of Ferrari properly here at Russia. You know, such a lot, you know, such a long, back straight, such a long pit straight. You know, it's always going to be a very tough order to really keep these fast cars behind. So we move later on into the Grand Prix. The end of lap 4 now through sector 3. You can see Perez now in the mirrors and the proximity area. He's darting around. We lose the back end a little bit, and Perez just looking a bit too dangerous for my liking here. And obviously that Mercedes engine in the back of the Force India is going to work pretty well here, and he'll have DRS as we lose even more time through that second last corner with more oversteer. And you can see Perez right up our chuff now with DRS. He'll move to the right hand side of the circuit. He doesn't even need DRS. We'll have some DRS off Raikkonen because we were within 1 second, but you can see that's not even going to help us here to try and keep ahead of Perez. But we do a really awesome brake zone into turn 2 and hang around the outside. Perez really slow there, so that's unfortunate for him. It looks like the AI not too optimized through turn 2, so we're able to outbrake him thankfully, but we weren't really catching him in DRS. That was all just the brake zone really. But Perez is going to keep up with us. We go a little bit wide here. He gets a really good run through this corner, and he's actually going to go for the move down the inside of this corner. Fantastic to see Perez going down the inside, and he's going to try and get us for 7th place. We'll go side by side with him and still try and keep it up with him, but he's got the better line. I want to come in hanging around the outside. We'll do our best into 3rd gear, just about get it on the exit. A bit of oversteer for good measure, maybe to scare him off, and we have kept it up in 7th place for now. I say for now, because Perez comes very aggressively on the left-hand side now. Bottas also behind us, and I think Massa's not too far behind, so we're in a bit of a sandwich here with the Williams cars. Perez gets ahead of us. We can't outbrake him and make a move that time because we're too focused on Bottas and Massa, who are fighting behind us. Massa, remember, on the soft tyres, so he's trying to get ahead of Bottas and myself because that's really wrecking his race, being held up here on this slower tyre compound. That's the entirety of his race strategy. He has to get ahead of all of us, but we are really holding him up here. So we move on to lap 8 now. You can see on the top left, Rosberg has made his pit stop right now. He comes out just behind us, so Rosberg genuinely showing the very good pace of the Mercedes here at Russia. Pretty much a pit stop ahead of us, pretty much. I mean, he would have come out ahead of us if it weren't for just, just generally getting some good DRS off some other cars. But on to the very end of that lap, we use, once again, the voice control to come in one lap earlier because our pit stop was on lap 9, but I said to the team to box this lap. So I'm enjoying using the voice commands. To be honest, I never actually used them in 2015, but for some reason I just thought I'd try and use them in 2016 a bit more. And they do come in handy because often in the past I'd just use my dials on my wheel. But this year, because the MFD on the right-hand side is a bit more complicated to go through, it's actually easier to use the voice commands. And obviously I have my microphone that I used to commentate with just plugged into my PC anyway the entire time, so I've actually been using a lot more to just get some info, box this lap, or just talk about the driver in front or behind, get some info on them. So actually quite useful for me this year. I mean, last year didn't really think so because you could just easily do it on your wheel, but we come out in 11th place anyway on the soft tyres, and obviously as we mentioned in the beginning, just a one stop, so we're going to the end on this set of tyres. So maybe it may seem like a very dull strategy, but we'll see what we get on with. You can see at the moment we're actually ahead of Sebastian Vettel, and he's made his pit stop, so Vettel must have had a horrible pit stop or some sort of issue with his pit stop to be behind us at the moment. But he's going to come through with DRS into turn 2. Can we try and do anything around the outside like we did on Perez? We'll try it. We'll just about hang it through and we'll get back up into 9th place. But Vettel obviously wants to get a move on, but let's see if we can piss him off as we did in Bahrain perhaps. But he comes through very aggressively on lap 12 now, again into turn 2, and this time we just don't get the good braking we need. We lock up into turn 2. We lose complete momentum there through that corner, and Vettel's high and dry above us now. And interestingly enough, Perez is actually ahead of him as well, so he must have had a real shocker of a pit stop. I don't know if he span or I don't know, had some contact, but he lost a heap of time there because the top pack were miles away from us when we were battling the likes of the Williams and Perez before he overtook us. So he must have had a real bad pit stop, or something must have happened to him. But we move on now to lap 15, a few laps later, and now Carlos Sainz in the Toro Rosso is closed up to us. We've not had great pace on these soft tyres so far. Still trying to get them rubbered in, I felt. I just couldn't find the rhythm as well because there were no cars around me, and I don't know about anyone else, but I genuinely actually drive better when there are cars around me and I can kind of follow their lines and just feel a bit more focused and feel a bit more hungry to kind of close up on them. Whereas when I'm just by myself, I sort of lose track of my thoughts, go into a bit of a kind of autopilot mode, and I just don't generally do as well in terms of lap times. But we move on to lap 16. Sainz has already bolted away, so sort of showing the upgrades for the Toro Rosso. We talked about that earlier on in the episode, that Toro Rosso upgraded. I was hoping we could see those upgrades coming into play. You can see there, Sainz getting away from us straight away, so I guess those upgrades are working for them, a pretty good treat. But you can see at the moment we're battling with Hulkenberg. He tried to overtake us in turn 2, didn't manage it, so we're holding it through right now in 8th place, but we do lock up quite horribly into this corner, turn 4, and Hulkenberg gets us down the inside there, so we really did not make that any easy for ourselves. We just completely locked up, and that was our own fault there, so we'll have to try and re-overtake him. Hopefully we've kept up with him through that corner and through here, getting a bit of slipstream through this swooping right-hander and through this next one into 3rd gear, getting some good drive through that corner. So keeping up with Hulkenberg, maybe we'll get the DRS on the very next straight and try and see what our straight line speed is going to be against the Force India. It wasn't too bad against the Williams, to be honest, with some DRS and just slipstream as well. So let's see what it's like on the Force India. We'll get DRS, get a pretty poor exit actually off that curving on the outside, but up into 7th gear, open the DRS. Let's see if we can close up. He's actually a bit far away for my liking. I don't think we'll be able to make a move into this next corner. We'll maybe have a look down the inside, down to 1st gear to get the car slowed down, but that's exactly what hinders us here on the exit of the corner, because I had to put it into 1st gear to really slow the car down. Otherwise, I was worried I was going to hit Hulkenberg. That really just completely killed our momentum off there. But on lap 17, we're coming back at him with some DRS, much better momentum into this next corner, so hopefully we can make a much better move. We lock up quite horribly on the right tyre, but that actually helps us to slow the car down. We go around the outside of the German in the Force India, and we've got up into 8th place, just about. He's actually still there on the inside, so you have to leave him the room on this next left-hander, but we should be able to swing round. We'll have the racing line, he'll have the worst line there, and we'll just about get into 8th place, finally, after 3 corners there. I thought we could have done it on the first one, but he actually generally kept it down the inside there, so fair play. But he will have DRS onto the next straight, so it's not over and done yet, unfortunately. You know, he's going to have the DRS from the activation point being behind us, so once more he's probably going to get us again, and I fear this may be a very big pattern in this race, just jigsawing around, you know, re-overtaking each other basically on different DRS zones, and we go down the inside of him into turn 2 though, so maybe we can stay ahead of him. We just about do that, but on to lap 20 now. He'll come back at us finally with DRS down the back straight in the pit straight, and this time he's got Bottas for company, who's been tailing the back of him with some DRS as well, so we've got some company here. We might be overtaken by a Williams as Hulkenberg has got us into turn 2, so once again we have to hope we can keep up with him onto the back straight, and we have done. So onto the end of lap 20 towards sector 3, we got to the left hand side this time, interestingly enough, going around the outside this time. Hulkenberg does well to keep it down the inside, but we'll just get it there, and the hope is now that I'm praying that Bottas can maybe just fight Hulkenberg a little bit. Hulkenberg tried a bit of a switchback move. You can see his front wing was there on the bottom left, but it didn't work out for him. But I'm hoping that the Williams can kind of fight him. But onto lap 22, he didn't fight him, he just overtook him plain and simply, and now he's overtaken me. Bottas streaking away into turn 2. He's got good momentum, but we're going to get a nice little switchback, good traction out of turn 2. Bit of oversteer, but we handle it pretty well, and now we'll swing through on the left-hander and try and close up on Bottas, going a little bit slow here in the second part, just like I think it was the Force India, or actually no, it was his teammate Massa who went slow into that turn at the beginning of the Grand Prix. So it looks like the Williams car doesn't have the downforce through that left part of that second part of the left-hander turn 3 to keep it flat almost. So the Williams lacking some downforces. Obviously they usually go for low drag setups generally in real life and in this game as well. On the end of lap 22, Hulkenberg overtakes us, but we're going to try and do our best to stay ahead. We do so into that brake zone. Sebastian Vettel is out of the race. So yet again another pull off for the German, and there's been a safety car deployed, so that neutralizes the race, and unfortunately for us we can't get in the back of Bottas now to try and re-overtake him until the safety car comes in. But let's have a look at a replay and see what happened to Sebastian Vettel. So he just keeps getting a lot of bad luck, just like he did in real life at the beginning of the season. So let's see what happens. He's got no cars around him, so I'm guessing maybe he just retires with a failure or something. Oh Jesus, wow, a spectacular failure of the engine. His Ferrari goes up in smokes there, and he parks it on the side of the circuit. So that Ferrari engine's completely cooked there. Really unfortunate for him, and I do really feel sorry for Seb in this career mode so far, because just like he is in real life, he's getting a lot of bad luck, and I guess that bad luck's following on from my driver in a way, which is quite funny and a bit odd, to be honest. Well, we moved on to lap 25. You can see green flag at the moment, so the safety car is in. As you can see clearly, we are nowhere near it. So weirdly enough, Bottas couldn't catch up to the pack. For some reason he was going very, very slow. I think we were just that far back, to be honest, and so strangely enough we're racing away, green flags, without ever even seeing the safety car. But it did definitely come out because we were under it for a few laps there. So I guess it was maybe a half a lap ahead of us maybe, so we just never saw it. But now onto lap 26 anyway. We're going down the inside into turn 4, nearly just going side by side through that corner, but Bottas gets the good traction there and just about keeps ahead of us. We've got only 2 laps left in this Grand Prix. Right up his chuff there, almost touching his gearbox there. He's showing that we've got some good downforce compared to the Williams car right at the end of the Grand Prix with some worn tyres. So really encouraging to see that. You know, it's been said in real life a lot of the time. Ron Dennis has said it so many times that he truly believes the McLaren car has a great chassis. It's just the fact that the engine can't work well with the chassis, and I guess right now it's showing in the game at the moment versus the Williams car. And obviously that's one of my targets, hopefully, to beat Williams in the constructors by the end of the season. Right now we're behind them, but hopefully if we maybe overtake Bottas, we could maybe help ourselves towards beating them at the moment early on in the season. We close up to them. Obviously no DRS yet because the safety car was in, so that kind of neutralized the DRS situation, and again we have to wait for 2 laps, and now it's activated on the very last lap of the Grand Prix. So lucky us, this might come into play. Very last lap of the Grand Prix now. Can we get 7th place and get some juicy points here for ourselves and the team? Slipstream Valtteri Bottas, not going to be enough perhaps. We'll close in on him through turn 2. Use that to get some good momentum, good traction through the exit, and now through turn 3. Once again, I'll be hoping that the Williams goes slow here. Look at that. It just doesn't have the downforce to keep up with us through that second part, and we'll go side by side with again, but crucially this time we have much better momentum. We'll go side by side with the Finn here down towards the very next corner, turn 5 I think it is, and we'll just about come through and squeeze them out. and we'll get up into 7th place. Bit of oversteer for good measure. We're up in 7th, but look at that. Sainz still in 6th place, so doing the job there in the improved Toro Rosso at this weekend, but we're up into 7th, and we'll come through for 7th place. So Max Verstappen has won the Russian Grand Prix. We'll come home through for a very hard-earned 7th place, but a bit of a reality check, obviously, after China getting that podium. Bit of a reality check down towards the order, but still, 7th place is fantastic, actually. If you discount what happened at China, this was a really amazing result for us to beat the Williams cars. We got beaten by the Toro Rosso, obviously, but they did upgrade their car, and they were ahead of us technically on the car kind of upgrade scale. So I'm happy with the result nonetheless there. Sergio Perez gets 5th place. Very, very awesome drive for him as well. So we get up into the Drivers' Championship ahead of Felipe Massa now, so that's great to see. And obviously we beat Romain Grosjean and our teammate there. So we did both the objectives for our kind of rivalry and for what the team wanted. So they should be pretty happy with us. In the Constructors, we stay put. You can see Force India have overtaken Haas F1, and they've gone down the order as Romain Grosjean, I don't think, got in the points there. As we move on to our resource points, you can see we've earned quite a good amount there. So hopefully into Spain, we'll be able to earn enough to maybe do one more upgrade. We might have to wait 2 races, actually, because obviously we did spend a good big 700 on that engine upgrade. So I can kind of, you know, fair play if we have to wait maybe 2 races for the next upgrade. But you can see in the rivalry update, we thrashed Romain Grosjean that weekend, nearly ticking off every single box there, so ahead of him right now in the rivalry. And in the driver's position, as you can see, we're going to get +3, and so we're well into the 10. Our team are very happy, so hopefully soon enough that second driver will change to equal status perhaps with Jenson Button. So an all-round great Grand Prix for us, but as we come to the end, we've got a bit of an issue, guys, and I need to address this. You can see on screen right now clearly it says driver retirement because for some reason my game thought that I was still doing the preview of F1 2016, even though I definitely was playing the full game, because I could go into quick race and do every single circuit. I could play multiplayer online just like anything else. I could do everything in the full game, but for some reason my account has been a bit glitched on Steam and keeps associating itself with the preview build. So whatever I do, reset, I've like uninstalled the game twice, re-downloaded it twice, and it keeps telling me that I'm still playing the preview on career mode, but the rest of the game I'm fine, I'm playing the full game. So it's a little bit glitched, so I've had to kind of work around that, and I've had to create a new Steam account and basically re-buy the game and kind of do the career mode on that. So what I'm going to be doing for the next episode, guys, is I'm going to be redoing all 4 rounds off camera, just with a 5-lap race, and basically I'm going to be finishing wherever I finished in for every single race. So obviously Australia, I scored no points. For Bahrain, I scored 10th, and I'll hopefully try and get Button 9th. In China, obviously we finished 3rd, Button out of the points, and then in Russia I finished 7th. So I will definitely be redoing that, making sure I finish in those positions. But the only thing is, the only catch is I can't, you know, I can't make the AI finish where they finished in these races. So it's really unfortunate, but I had no clue this was going to be the case until I finished this Russian Grand Prix race. So I was so gutted about that. But you know what, we weren't really in a championship fight, so I don't think it matters too much. Hopefully you guys won't mind, and you can kind of understand that I literally have no other way to do it. My hands are tied. My main account on Steam is just glitched a bit with the F1 2016 preview model, and it just is permanently linked with the preview build for some reason. So I've had to create an entire separate Steam account, and I've had to re-buy and pay another £40 just to play the rest of the career mode, really, unfortunately. So hope you guys don't mind too much, but yeah, just explaining what's happened there at the end. Either way, guys, if you have enjoyed the episode, smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do subscribe for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been Aarava. Hope you enjoyed today. I'll see you guys next time for the Spanish Grand Prix. Goodbye.